Namaskar, welcome to Shan Shakti. Today we will be talking about a very beautiful subject. What is yoga? Many people think that some asanas, some light exercises, some stretching and some pranayama that makes up the definition of yoga. However, Yoga Rishi Patanjali, he has defined yoga in a very different way. He says in his beautiful Yoga Darshan by Patanjali, he says Yogas Chitta Vritti Nirodha. Now to understand what is yoga, he says it is Chitta Vritti Nirodha. So we need to understand what is this Chitta, what is Vritti, what is Nirodha. So let's dwell deeper into the subject. But before that we will have to understand certain elementary and basic context to this Chitta Vritti Nirodha and what are they related to, right? So the different distinctions which are related with Chitta is Sharir, Man, Buddhi, Ahankar, Mithya Ahankar, Atma, Paramatma, Sthul Sharir, Shukshma Sharir. And understanding all of them, we will try to understand the context from where Yoga Rishi Patanjali is trying to define yoga, and then we will also see the definition of yoga through the eyes of the new Sansved. So let's now understand what is Sharir. So let's try to understand what is hardware, what is mind, what is the body. Taking example of a phone. So this has a body. So whatever this hardware what we are seeing, that is the body. The body hardware has small functional objects like camera or mic or speaker or the touch screen. They formulate the sensory organ for the phone. The same way we have our 5 sensory organs, right, along with this body. Also has an operating system which is the intellect. This is a phone and this has a body, something very similar to what we have as a body, right? This has a mouthpiece, a speaker from where it can talk. This has a earpiece, whatever we talk, it has a mic which it can absorb the sound energy and then translate into the functions of the phone. Isn't it so? This also has a camera from which it can see the world, right? That camera. So it has camera front and back, right? So we have eyes. This camera acts as a indriya or the sensory organ of eyes for this phone. Sometimes these new phones, they have triple camera. Don't worry, it's not the third eye. Now all these different instruments or functions of indriyas, these different facets, we also have in our body. So this is our body, whatever physical form which we are seeing. However, the body has 5 Gyanendriyas, which are the 5 sensory organs of information. Hence they are known as Gyanendriyas. They translate information or they gather information from the external environment and then they send it to the mind or the central nervous system along with the mind, or which is the function of the mind. So all the information is sent to the central nervous system where it is processed into the functions of the mind. The eyes, what it sees, the tongue, the taste buds, what it tastes, the smell as a sensory function of what it can smell through nose. The ears, they can listen to the sound and then absorb and then translate that sound energy into the sensory signals, and then the touch. This way we have 5 different senses. All these 5 senses then reach upon to the mind. Now what is mind? Let's again understand with the phone. So whatever stimulations what we give to this phone, inside of this phone there is an operating system and then there are different apps. So the operating system, different phones have different operating system, but let's take the 2 popular ones. So the Android phone has an Android operating system, the iOS phone has a iOS operating system, right? That operating system which connects the hardware and the software, that interconnecting system is the buddhi, the intellect. Because without the operating system, without the intellect, this will not perform. Then what is man? Man or the mind is all the open apps. So whatever, let's assume you are right now working on WhatsApp or Facebook or Office or camera, or you are playing any game. That is the mind, because wherever your present focus is, the present working app, that is the random access memory or the RAM. Buddhi is intellect. However, we also charge this phone. The batteries, only when the batteries are fully charged or when the batteries are available, the charge is available for us, that time we can use this phone. The moment the battery is dead, this phone is not usable, right? What literally means is the functions of the phones are not usable. So the charging is very important. We need to understand what is the charging for us. So when we connect the dots and we interconnect the study, we understand that the charging, one form of the charge or the Pran Shakti that we are getting is through what we breathe. Okay, and then the second is through what we eat. We are creating energy. However, prana is not directly energy. It has an element of energy, it has an element of matter, and it has an element of consciousness. Hence, in our programs of diet, we go into in-depth of understanding what is this prana energy. However, right now we will only understand the basics of it, that whenever we are inhaling oxygen, and then whenever we are exhaling carbon dioxide. Where did this C come from? Where did this carbon come from? What is C? What is carbon dioxide? It is CO2. What is oxygen? O2. So oxygen has gone in, however coming out it is CO2. Why is it so? Where did this C come from? That came from our diet, right? So when the Pran Shakti, when we are taking in oxygen, the oxygen is going inside, and then somewhere something is happening and we are giving or making it CO2, and then that we are offering to the environment, which is then further taken by the plants, and then they process it and then they give back O2. It is a very, very beautiful thing. So half of our lungs are out here and half of the lungs are out there in the universe. Isn't it so? Because we took O2, we gave CO2, the plants took the C when they are breathing, and then they are giving us back O2. That's how half of our lungs are trees, and hence it is very, very important to understand that in yoga we are interconnected. Half of our lungs is outside, half of our body is outside in the environment. Hence, whatever we are dealing with the environment, that has a lot of impact on our yoga. So friends, we need to now understand that how this mind or man is related with our intellect. So whenever the indriyas or the sensory organs, they send the information to the mind through any of our senses in the form of information or signals, okay, then the mind has options to go to the intellect. Usually the mind is like a disciple and the intellect is like the teacher or the guiding force to the mind, because the intellect is a force where it can process the information, it can analyze it, it can creatively think about it, rethink about it. That is what happens in the intellect. A lot of various processes can happen. That processes that can happen in the intellect then guides back the mind to take further actions. But sometimes the mind is taken over by darker forces. So it doesn't go towards the intellect, it goes down towards the negative forces. Whenever it is going towards the intellect, it is becoming positive, or it is taking actions which are filled with love and light. And whenever it is going towards a downward trend or towards negative forces, it is taking darker action. But before we understand what are darker actions, we need to understand what is ahankar and what is mithyan. So friends, let's try to understand what is ahankara. So inside of our phone, we have this antivirus software, or this consolidated software which tries to regularly maintain the software, clean up the cache files, check out the malicious softwares or apps. It tries to clean up all those different anti softwares which are going to derail the smooth functioning of your phone. Though that antivirus software can be easily called upon as, it is not exactly like ahankara, but it can be related with ahankara. So ahankara function is to safeguard the software and hardware, the sum total of the phone that we have. Similarly, ahankara's function inside of our life is to take care of this body and spirit till the time we are alive. So we have this innate intuition inside of our body, this internal software which keeps us alive, and we are always striving to survive. That survival software is Ahankara. I know many of us have actually thought Ahankara is ego, but Ahankara is not ego. Ahankara is ego consciousness. There's a difference between ego and ego consciousness. Ego is pride and functions of pride. Ahankara comes from two different functions. One is it gives shape to us, and then second is it protects us. So the first one is coming from the word aham akara in Sanskrit. It means aham means me or mine, and akar is the expression or the form. So all those expressions of me which I am connected with, or which is defining me, which is giving me the form, that is Ahankar. So my name, my body, my looks, my caste, creed, religion, country, everything which is giving me a shape to my overall identity, that is Ahankar. So this Ahankar is an expression of everything which gives you that form. So for example, when there is a cricket match or a football match between two countries, when your country is winning, you are very happy, and when your country is losing, you are not very happy. Why is this happening so? Because you are attached with that country. You relate with that country. That is within the frame or the form of that country is somewhere the outer expression or the body of yours, and it is attached with your Ahankara. Whatever things you are attached with through your Ahankara, you will try to protect it, or whatever is happening to them, you will try to react in that particular form. That is the reason we try to protect our loved ones. That is the reason we are so attached with our religion or caste or creed many a times. People in Ahankar are related or interconnected with those outer cages. However, it is a very real thing, and that is what gives us the form or akar. What is Mithya Ahankar? So when the malicious softwares or antiviruses they enter, what they do is they will first try to sneak out from the clutches of your antivirus, right? So they will fool the antivirus. Which means they will create an illusion to the antivirus that it is a safe app, right? Any malicious app, when the programmer will design, he tries to design it that way so that it can go through the radar of the antivirus. Isn't it so? So it will create an illusion that it is a part and parcel of the safe app. Illusion to the Ahankara gives rise to illusion Ahankar, which we call as Mithya Ahankar, that was creating illusion inside of you for that person. So what actually happens when you are in an emergency situation? Your Ahankara files open. The Ahankara has the power to take the mind's complete attention from the buddhi or from the intellect and take it towards Ahankara, because otherwise the buddhi will go into its own creative rationalization or analysis, which is a very long process. This is an emergency. So Ahankara's role is to take charge and make it very simple for mind and body to take an action. Simple actions, either flight, to run away if the danger is very dangerous, very powerful, if the fire is very big, or if the animal is very dangerous or very mighty, then run away, or to fight if the fire is seeming that okay, this can be controlled. So we try to put off that fire through different means. Or if the snake is small or if the animal is small, then we try to scare that animal. Or if it is too close and we are in clutches of that animal, then we get into the frozen mode. So that is the function of the survival software. It pulls away the mind from the intellect. Pay attention, okay? That's where the whole thing is now, to understand Mithya Ahankar, what Mithya Ahankar does. Because during Mithya Ahankar, that antivirus, that illusion ego will create an emergency situation such that the mind is grabbed towards Ahankara and then pulled over into the negativity of Mithya Ahankar. So there is not a real danger. However, the mind is strict. The mind is shown an illusion that there is a danger. So let me give you an example. If there is a real fire, or if there is a real snake in your life and you are reacting to take care of your body and your life, that is a function of survival software Ahankara, which is a proper reaction. Till that, it is no issues. Ahankara actions are not bad. However, when illusion is joined, okay, so there is not a real life danger threat. However, inside of your mind, you think of your boss or teacher or neighbor as a threat, as a snake, you know, that he or she is a life-threatening situation, or some enemy, and that it is a life-threatening situation. Inside of a mind, an illusion is created, and then the Mithya Ahankar takes over. So there is no real danger, it is an illusion of a danger that is created. That is what Mithya Ahankar does, and then it takes over the control of the mind, and then the mind is drawn towards the negative energies. Every function, every anger, sadness, depression, jealousy, all functions, they are actually the functions of Mithya Ahankar, or this virus known as Mithya Ahankar inside of a life. Hence, it is very, very important to understand what is Mithya Ahankar. What actually happens is, this Mithya or illusion is sitting below the Ahankar. So this is the mind. The Buddhi usually tries to pick up the mind, you know, that is the higher consciousness. And then below mind is the Ahankara. Till that point, it is the safe consciousness. But below the Ahankara, the safe consciousness is the illusion. And the illusion pulls the mind below the Ahankara, and then illusion ego consciousness is created, and then we go deeper into the darkness realms, and that is where all our anger, sadness, resentment, everything is created. That virus program which is inside of your phone, that is the Mithya Ahankar. Inside of our body, we have a virus program created through the manipulated illusions inside of our thoughts and mind. It is a ripple created in the illusions of the mind. But where is it stored? It is stored in Chitta. So let's understand what is Chitta. Chitta, if I have to take example of the phone, so inside of the phone, the Chitta is in two parts. So the phone has the hard disk, right? Or the computer has a hard disk. The phone has a internal storage where you store all your data. That is the Chitta. The extra SD card you put is the Chitta. Okay, so one Chitta is inside of the phone, and then there is another Chitta is the cloud storage. So whenever you are taking a photo, okay, some photographs you store inside in the phone, but sometimes you upload them on Google Drive or Facebook or Instagram or some cloud service, right? You save them on the cloud. So even when the phone is gone, lost, or if the phone is dead, you can still access those memories or those photographs which are on the cloud. However, all the memory or everything, whatever you had inside of your phone, if your phone is lost, everything is gone, right? Inside of your phone, whatever you have. Something similarly, we have our Chitta. Inside of our Chitta, we have two forms of Chitta. So one is the body Chitta, this Ahankara Chitta, you know, which is the sum total of energy, consciousness, mind and body. So there are few elementary things which we have stored inside of the body, or the body consciousness, that whatever we store inside of the body, okay, like all the functions that are happening inside of the body, the heart is beating, the muscles move automatically, all the kriyas, what the body does, that is all stored inside of this body. However, the actions which are important for our soul's journey, the soul's consciousness inside of this life, that is stored in the divine server, in the divine network, and that divine cloud is where your karma imprints are stored, your wisdom is stored, and that is where your beyond wisdom or your higher consciousness light, your guiding light comes to you. Try to understand, that is where you are creating your destiny through your karmas, because whatever karma you are doing, through that you are creating imprints and you are storing that in the divine consciousness. That divine consciousness will then relay them back to you in your life or in graded formations as a reflection to your karmas, your action. Now that we have understood what is ahankar, mithya ahankar or illusion ego, ego consciousness, intellect, mind and body, we also need to understand that there are two kinds of mind. And what are these two kinds of? These are the broad, there are two kinds of body. One is the Shukshma or the minute or microscopic body, the body which you can feel, this body, the body which you can actually feel or perceive. And the second is the subtle body, which is more based on the energy system or the software or the consciousness, right? So whatever you perceive of this as a phone, that is the hardware body, the microscopic body or the gross body. This is the gross body. However, there is a subtle body. What is the subtle body? So when we usually take a backup of your phone or backup of your computers or the screen image, the backup image file. So whenever God forbid your computer crashes or when your phone crashes, you take up that image file and reinstall your phone or your computer. That image file is the subtle body of this gross body. So now that we have understood both the bodies, mind, body, intellect, ahankar and mithya ahankar, we can now go and understand what are vrittis. So vrittis are the disturbances created in the functioning of this complete system, this complete entire body, okay, of all the things which we said, okay, through mithya ahankar. The mithya ahankar will create a false ripple effect, false identity, false disturbance inside of your chitta, inside of your storage system. And once that is recorded on your storage system, it is disturbing you now continuously in all your other acts, because you are performing through that filter. It is like, let's say you are wearing a colored specs. So let's say if this is a red color glass, whatever I will see is red color. The problem is not with the world is not of red color. Because my glasses is of red color, all what I am seeing is of red color. So friends, we need to understand here that when the mind is completely taken over by the illusion, ego consciousness, okay, it has gone down now, and the virus software is so strong that the mind or the intellect is not able to work, the wisdom is not able to pull it above, okay, wisdom is above intellect, it is not able to pull it above that disturbance, and that disturbance is so strong that it is now sitting inside of your storage system, that every time you are acting through that karma or you are doing a similar action, that is bothering you. Okay, so when you were wearing that when you are wearing a red spectacles and you are seeing the entire world as red, nothing is wrong with the world. And when you are taking actions based on that red color, which you are perceiving in a wrong manner, hence your actions are going to be, the chances of actions being wrong are more, because it is based on illusion, it is not based on correct information. Mithya is creating wrong ripples, and it is a ripple effect, because that happened once but it is still bothering you. For example, let's say we had one bad taste or one bad experience with a person of one country or religion or of a sex or caste or creed, and then we store that and then we generalize it, and then next time any person belonging from that country or caste or religion or creed or sex, we see them from the same filter and we judge them, and then that's where the whole illusion ego engulfs us. Our karmas, the chances of our karmas being negative are much more. Look at the way, Western world will generalize or judge the Eastern world, to the Western world. India will judge Pakistanis will judge Indians, Americans will judge Russians will judge Americans. Everywhere this is happening. This is the function of that mithya ahankar, that vritti which is created. One person must have done something, and then the entire sect or country or religion is generalized. That's the function of that. and then we start taking actions through that. And even inside of our life we do the same thing. We may have had one bad relationship, however in the second relationship, and the more bad relationships you have, the more your vrittis are accumulating those negativities, and then you start looking all the next person coming inside of your life who may be a pure soul, but you are judging them through all those mithyas. First of all, the first person was also not bad. It was your illusion inside of your mind, your spectacles which you were wearing. Similarly, there are layers and layers of this illusion, mithya ahankar, which is creating vrittis in our chitta, which is creating disturbance in our entire functioning system. That disturbance has to be removed or disempowered. That is what it means. Chitta vritti nirodha. The disturbance in this functioning system has to be disengaged or disempowered. That is yoga. How deep is that? That's the beauty of the definition of yoga. So friends, yoga is not just chitta vritti nirodha. In Sanskrit we take it one more step ahead, which even our ancient sages meant the same thing. Yoga is also union. Yoga means union. Union to what? Union or enlightening or becoming aware or joining your own self to your own self, and then ultimately to the entire universe. Because the entire universe is, or the entire divine network is in a concentrated form inside of you as a small soul consciousness. The entire consciousness of my, yours, different soul consciousness create the super consciousness, right? Very similar to this phone, your phone, my phone, everybody's phone collectively is connected to the network, and there is only one network. Although there may be different companies charging you, but they are all connected to one network. If that network is so powerful, imagine this divine network, how powerful and what beautiful it will be once you realize the essence of it. So yoga is ultimately reaching to the awareness and understanding of that divine consciousness via the concentrated droplet of soul consciousness. Whenever the subjects of our indriyas, our sensory organs, they drive us outside through mithya ahankar, whenever the mithya ahankar will pull us down, our consciousness, that time we are taken away from our soul consciousness. We go towards the darker forces. Whenever you empower it through any sadhanas, any lessons, any form, any exercises, which is actually raising your awareness towards your soul, knowing and understanding who you are actually and what you are here for and what is your purpose. We need to understand one very interesting thing of this billing cycle. So every time we have a phone, either there is a prepaid or a postpaid billing cycle. So this billing cycle is somewhat very similar to the karmic cycles which we have. So every time you are using a data here, the billing cycle meter clicks. Similarly, every time you are doing an act, there is a karmic cycle. So we need to be very, very aware of what kind of karma are we doing, because the karmic cycle meter is running down. It better be a very positive one, because let it be on a positive side. So once when we leave this body consciousness, we better, when we become one with the divine network, we have the imprints which will empower us to design a more bigger dimensional life compared to microscopic or very negative or lower consciousness life. Isn't it so? Billing cycle is more on how much data or what is the unit of call. Out here, even the quality of karma or quality of data exchanged is very important. Hence, pay attention to what quality of karmas and actions and speech and talks and mental internal talks that you are doing with yourself. That is the sadhana of yoga. So to understand ahankara, ahankara is very interesting. It is like SIM card, okay? It sounds like the heart or the soul. However, the SIM card is ahankara. That is what gives identity. Ahankara is what gives identity to your phone. That phone number is given to you through that SIM card, right? The SIM card is sitting here, but the power, the number is given through the network, mind you. something very similar happens with us. The birth to this body is given by Ahankara via the soul consciousness. So the soul consciousness unites with the physical consciousness. Okay, the sun unites with the earth, the light unites with the darkness, the masculine unites with the feminine. In the presence of darkness, in the presence of shadow, is given an identity. So that SIM card is the Ahankar. That phone number is out there in the divine network. The soul consciousness is not just here, it is here, but it is also at the same time expanded to the same divine network it is connected. So what is this Bluetooth function? So Bluetooth or message or whatever we send or when we make a call, there is an interphone or intercellular relationship that develops. When you give a call from one phone to another phone, there is a intercellular activity that is happening via the network. Something very similar happens whenever two people are in a relationship or any form of exchange of energy is happening. We think a boss and a worker, or a teacher and a student, or husband and a wife, everywhere there is a network relationship. That is why when breakups happen or when people whom you love, when they are going away, that which is stored in the divine chitta, that affects us. So in Bluetooth, when you are exchanging a very romantic song from one phone to the other, similarly in this divine Bluetooth network, that love, although it seems that it is happening on the hardware between two bodies, there is the divine consciousness. We will talk about love in our relationship class in depth. See you soon. Thank you. Dhanyavad. That is only you. Dhanyavad. Atma Naman. Atma Naman.